Hey guys, it's Frotal here, and today we're going to be looking at r/tales of neckbeards. It's pretty self-explanatory, and right now we're looking at is, a neckbeard in his natural habitat in his mother's basement. He has a fedora, he has the beard. It's all there. He's just here as an emotional support for us as we get through this story of cringe and abuse that is about to ensue. Let's go. Incel in the making. When I was about 15, I had met this guy over the internet. We'll call him S. S seemed like a genuinely nice guy, and he made me laugh constantly, which is the main thing I look for in a partner. Everything seemed like it would be great, right? He was sweet, he only lived one state away, and he appeared to be a kind-hearted, relatively good-looking guy. The kicker here, though, was that he was 20 going on 21. S didn't seem anything like a neckbeard, other than the living with his mom part, but he took care of her, so I respected that. He also didn't look anything like the stereotype, as he was well-groomed, handsome, somewhat fit black man. Nothing like the crusty, overweight, greasy white guys we've heard of time and time again. The only resemblance I would say that he had with the neckbeard was that he was into anime and was a virgin, but that's irrelevant to the story. The fact that he was interested in being with the 15-year-old didn't raise any red flags to me at the time because I was just so excited. Not only that, but I didn't even think there would be a good reason why he was 20 years old and a virgin. I just figured he was one of those nice guys who never get a chance types. We started being in a relationship, and we had both sent sexually explicit messages and pictures to each other, which was fine by me because I didn't know any better. Everything was going great until the second time he came to see me. I was now 16 and S was 21. The first time is irrelevant as it was only for a weekend and nothing eventful happened. The second time, however, S was staying for 3 weeks. 3. It was the cheapest option when booking the flight, and since I was the one paying this time around, I figured why not. At the time, my grandmother, who I live with, was very ill, and so she was sleeping in the living room as to be able to access any medicine she needed quickly and be close to her oxygen setup. She has since recovered and is doing amazingly. All the other rooms in the house were filled as I had family staying with us since it was coming up on Christmas. So I made the agreement with my family that his living situation for the next few weeks would consist of a twin mattress stuffed into my room where he would sleep. This did not happen. Every night we would go to bed together, and it was great, at first. Though I noticed any time I would try to kiss him, he would immediately get aggressive with it and try to shove his tongue into my mouth. I found myself trying not to kiss him, and I felt bad about it because we had talked about going all the way, but I didn't expect it to be so sudden. A night or two passed and we decided to give it a try. Though, with him being well endowed and the two of us being virgins, it didn't go as planned. This guy did absolutely zero foreplay and just tried to stick the thing up in there dry. The pain was indescribable. I tried to tell him to stop and that it hurt, but at first he wouldn't listen. After me basically pushing him off of me, S was extremely upset with me. He would go and sleep on the spare mattress he was supposed to be on, and leave me crying alone on the main bed. The pain had been so bad that when I went to the bathroom the next morning, I noticed blood. Now I know this was most likely a hymen thing, but at the time it freaked me out very badly. This would happen several more times throughout the next 3 weeks. And he would constantly make me feel as though it was my fault and that I was such a disappointment to him. I would sometimes wake up to him busting one on my butt while I slept, or him copping a feel, etc. One time I remember specifically was when we had been lying in bed for a long time, and when it was getting close to noon, I said we needed to get up and go help my grandma out. He said he needed a few minutes and that I should help him with this not so little problem, and I told him that we didn't have time. S exploded at me and made me leave so he could jack it in my bed, and I had to make up some stories to my family about how he was getting dressed or something. Another time was on New Year's Eve, and he and my family were all in the living room waiting for midnight. And because we were under the blanket together, he had me start to fondle him. I kept giving him looks and trying to pull my hand away, but I was too afraid to say anything in front of my whole family. I think he knew that. After he left, things were never the same. He would often get into fits of rage toward me. I never had the courage to report him because what he had done was illegal on many levels. I wasn't afraid for how I'd look, but I was afraid for his mom and sister, who he was their only financial support at the time. In retrospect, I should have absolutely reported him to the authorities to make sure he never preys upon young girls like me ever again, though I'm glad I've learned from my mistakes. To this day, it is hard for me to tell this story, and hard for me to trust any partners that come into my life. The thought of having sex with a man scares me deeply, but I know that they're not all like this. This is why we don't question the judgment of why other women don't want to date the nice guy. Okay, so my first question is, Why is your family okay with you just bringing a 21-year-old over for 3 weeks during Christmas break? She actually does address this in the comments. She says that she lied to her whole family, saying that he was 18, and because he was relatively short, it was pretty believable. So, I mean, I guess that makes sense, but even if he was 18, that's still kind of weird for your family to just let him sleep in your room for 3 weeks. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just a progressive family and they're just, okay with that. But anyway, this guy just sounds like really sexually. He basically went in there with the wrong mindset. He wanted to go in there just to have sex, just to, get things done and he doesn't realize that, girls really, really value foreplay way more than they value the actual act of it. So he just ignored your feelings, ignored your emotions, and ignored your literal feelings of pain when it hurt, and chastised you and yelled at you for not wanting to do something that literally hurt you and caused you pain, which is just fucked up on so many levels. And then when he just totally tried to do sexual things with your family in the same room, that's so uncomfortable. I feel so bad for you. I'm glad you got out of that toxic relationship and you're on to bigger and better things. Yeah, that's just a really, really disturbing story. I hope that guy did not go on to assault any other women or sexually abuse any other women. I really, really hope. But yeah, that's basically the end of the video. It was a relatively long story, so I'm only gonna read one. But yeah, anyway, if you like the video, give it a like. If you like me, my opinions, my voice, then subscribe. But other than that, I'm just gonna end the video. I didn't mean to hit my desk, but bye.